Mr. Governor is coming.
Did he say it?
No, I said it. I'll
He
tell
did
you
say it?
when. I'll tell you
Oh, okay.
when.
Sir, I need you to pass that to me in rotation.
I'm gonna need somebody to confiscate that bong from my possession.
Fine, fine. I'll give you the
Thank
bong.
you.
I'll give you the bong.
I got a joint for you.
Joints are legal, bogs aren't. Yeah. Words are hard, okay? Words
What
are
kind of
hard.
bass backwards pageantry is that?
That's what Officer
It's
Clem
drug
said.
paraphernalia. God damn it! Paraphernalia.
Clem, we just had this talk outside.
What'd
God
you say?
damn it, Clem.
I said we just had this talk about you learning how to read outside.
I love him.
Listen, words are hard. I'm working on it.
Nice flub, Clem.
Why is everybody picking on me?
We are waiting for you.
You've been charged.
All right. Courtroom, all rise for Honorable Judge Duke Davin.
All right, you may be seated. Remind me after this is over to burn this fucking chair. All right, I'm going to ask everybody in the courtroom to make sure they're shouting, please. As you're so far away, I need to be able to hear you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, what are we here for today? Looks like the issue of Jack the Ripper versus the state of Elysian.
It's gonna be the state of Elysium versus Jack Ripper, Your Honor.
That's exactly what I said, just backwards.
Yeah, that's exactly.
He's nervous.
All right, counsel, you may proceed with the opening arguments.
Okay. All right, Your Honor. So, we're here today due to the. Well, first off, I'm Chief Jake Casey. I'm going to be representing the Los Santos Police Department today. Let me just get out my computer tablet here. We're here today due to the fact that the suspect, or the Mr. Ripper here.
That would be the defendant.
The defendant, excuse me. The defendant was seen fleeing 2 robberies today.
Let's hear the charges first, officer.
So we're going to be charging him with attempted armed robbery of a store ×2. It's going to be disorderly conduct, disobeying a Leo ×3, disturbing the peace, and reckless evading ×3.
All right, Mr. Ripper, and how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Not guilty what?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
That's better. All right, proceed, Officer Casey.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I'd like to start off basically by saying when I flew in today, before I could even do my daily checkups of the previous arrests of the previous day, one of my officers, Officer Carmelo Young, over here, was already in pursuit of what we believe is the suspect's vehicle, due to the fact that he was in fact booked and charged and pled guilty just the previous day, yesterday, of a armed robbery of a jewelry store with the same vehicle on scene.
Which vehicle?
It's going to be a purple. Give me 1 second, so I'm not mistaken. Let's see here.
What While we're waiting for Mr. Casey to go through his notes here, I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Falk for his generous donation of this courthouse.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Falk.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, beautiful.
Thank you,
Your
sweetheart.
Honor,
Gorgeous.
we're unclear if it's the Dodge Ram Mega or the Dodge Hell Ram. At this
I
time.
believe one is about fucking 6 inches taller than the other, is it not?
To clarify that, it's the Dodge Mega Ram. It's not going to be the Hell Ram. The Hell Ram is a slammed truck.
No, it is the Hell Ram. It's the Hell Ram.
It's the Hell Ram. It's the faster one. It's the 2-door one.
And it's lowered to the floor.
My apologies.
So
Yeah, but isn't the one that you took in custody at the mechanic shop? This is meta,
this
but
is,
isn't
so the one we took in custody at the mechanic shop, Your Honor, was the Dodge Ram Mega. The defendant's vehicles are all the same color. And
you got something against the color purple?
No, Your Honor, it's not that at all. It's just we had a description of the suspect, just due to the fact of these 2 robberies, as well as him fleeing on me when I attempted to detain him for the first robbery when he was outside of the mechanic shop.
All right, let's go through from the top what we're here for today.
Okay. Would you like me to read the report I got halfway through writing and then just go from there?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay. Let's see here. So, this is do the defendant's lawyers have access to MDTs?
I do, but the defendant's file here is not here for today's interaction. It's here for yesterday's interaction.
No,
not
no.
for
So you got to
today's.
hit refresh. It's gonna be ID 72.
Do you have access to that as a lawyer?
You should.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Oh, perfect.
Or yes, Your Honor. Sorry.
Can you see it?
Who the
'Cause
fuck is
I
walking
did
around?
Save it, and I can see it in my incidents.
17 minutes ago.
Correct. That would be it.
Yes.
Yep.
I do see it now. Thank you.
Yep. So if you want to just follow along, or whoever has
Sure.
access to this can follow along. So basically, this is my words alone, up until the end, where I kind of got cut off due to the trial time. We also just took the defendant into custody.
Yeah. Just get to
He did
reading.
request a speedy trial. I just want that to be put on record. So
then my
that
statement
is the
stands.
condition.
Speedy trial.
That is the reason for the condition of this report. So I'll start off. When I flew in on duty this afternoon, Officer 246C. Young, that's Carmelo Young, informed me of a purple 2-door pickup that fled from him at a 1090 on Grove Street. After reviewing the body cam, I got a good description of the vehicle and attempted to put a bullet.
Just gonna cut you short there, Officer Casey. Could you please describe what a 1090 is for our non-police
1090
jurors?
is a armed robbery of a store. It can be a convenience store. It could be a house. It could be a jewelry store, a bank. I'm sorry, a 1090H is actually a bank robbery, but other than that, a basic 1090 is one of those 3 things.
Okay, so he was evading from robbery.
He was evading from an armed robbery of a store at the 24/7 on Grove Street. Let's see. I tried to put a bolo out on the vehicle. It would not work for some reason. Nevertheless, I myself and 246 both knew what the truck looked like. And we're on the lookout for said vehicle. Officer Young also stated that the suspect had been using the same vehicle on a prior robbery yesterday, which had led us to believe who the suspect possibly was behind these new robberies. A few hours later, a 1090 popped off at the...
Okay, hold on. I'm just going to cut you off there. How do you know it was him driving the truck? You know he could lend it out, right?
I'm sorry?
Were you able to get ID on the suspect in previous robbery?
Yeah.
What was it?
Did you get an eye on the guy driving the truck in the previous
we did
robbery?
on body cam,
All right.
I believe. So a few hours popped off. The other thing too, Your Honor, is it's the same exact truck as if you do you have access to the system?
Not right now because I'm not clocked in.
Okay, so I want to make this clear. Not even literally the previous arrest. This is ID number 72. ID number 71. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same defendant. Arrested by Officer Young, and it's for the. He stated he was driving the same exact vehicle. Same make, same model, same color, same underglow, same everything.
Okay, well, that was a crime committed, and he served the time for it yesterday, so that's got no
So-
bearing on
The
today.
vehicle was not there.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna object, Your Honor. He's objecting out of line.
Yeah, that was that's for your lawyer to say there, Mr. Ripper.
I have no way of conferring with my lawyer at this moment in time. We're talking out in
And
the
to be
courtroom.
honest with you, Your Honor, I was waiting for Officer Casey to confine. I didn't know my client was going to speak like that, but to be honest with you, I do kind of agree. I'm not.
All right, well, moving forward, you whisper to your lawyer and have your lawyer work for you. Got that, Mr. Ripper?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. So far we've got you as you entered in the city, we had a fucking store robbery going on. The defendant allegedly fled the scene in a vehicle that had been committed prior crimes. Continue.
Correct. So, give me 1 second here. Let me just get back on track where I was. So the 1090 popped off, which again is a store robbery in this case, on Great Ocean Highway. The postal for the store was 5065. I responded to the call, headed out from MRPD. At this point in time, I do want to add, Your Honor, I was the only one on duty. Everybody else was either off duty or 10-7.
10-7 for everybody who's not a cop.
10-7 is out of service but on duty. So
Thank you.
basically, they're either booking a suspect in their head, going to the bathroom, getting something to eat on break, etc., etc. May I continue?
Give her.
When I got to Great Ocean Highway, I witnessed the same truck that we had been looking for, described by Officer Young and shown on his body cam as well. I turned around, attempted to chase the vehicle, but lost him in the city. I patrolled the streets for some time and could not find the suspect. I then decided to drive by the mechanic shop, where I saw Mr. Ripper parked outside of the shop, digging in his trunk. When I pulled in front of him, he immediately jumped into his driver's seat. This gave me the reason to believe he may have been attempting to take off on me. I then hopped out of my vehicle, drew my gun on him, and ordered him out of the vehicle. He then yelled some profanities, I believe, as the windows were closed. I could hear him yelling something, but I could not hear what it was.
Well, there's no law against freedom of speech, so continue.
No, you're absolutely right, Judge. He then took off on me. I kept up with him until.
Let me just stop you here. What vehicle are we in at this time?
So at this point in time, Your Honor, he was in his R35, I believe, is GTR.
Now, is that the one that we questioned of committing the crimes here? I thought we were talking about two different Dodge Rams.
No, correct. So.
What made you think somebody driving a different vehicle had anything to do with the Dodge Ram?
So, Your Honor, it's not the point of the fact that of the vehicle at this point. It's I see the suspect outside of his vehicle digging in his trunk. Outside.
But you had put eyes on the suspect at some point in time previous to this, or did you only put eyes on the suspect's vehicles?
No. I put eyes on the suspect outside of the mechanic shop because we had.
No, I mean during the robberies.
During the robberies, I did not have eyes on the suspect. No.
So then, how did you know that somebody minding his own business driving an R34 was a suspect of the robbery?
So, the officer over here, Mr. Young, he had eyes on him jumping his truck. We're aware of what he looks like, what he wears. So that being said, when I saw him outside of his R35, I attempted to stop and speak to him about it, but he chose to jump in the driver's seat of his vehicle and take off on me at gunpoint.
Why was he at gunpoint?
Because he's got prior convictions of attempted murder of a Leo, 3 of them actually, which he pled guilty to. And he immediately went from his trunk into his driver's seat where there are tinted windows where I cannot see inside of his vehicle. So I don't know if he's aiming a weapon at me. I don't know what he's doing, but it's for my safety and everyone's safety around me to have my weapon pointed at him.
Okay, continue.
So from here, the report cut out because I wasn't able to finish it due to the request.
That's all right. You can wrap it up later. Just keep going.
Right. So, so from there, he took off on me. I then got assistance from 246 Officer Young. He was in his head in MRPD. I chased the suspect all the way to the on-ramp by the casino, and then
This is still in the R34?
This is in the R34, 35, correct. I chased him for a short time, and then lost him on northbound Sonora Freeway. We then patrolled the city again. We fell back to the city from the highway, patrolled the city again for the 3rd time. Came to the mechanic shop where we then found the suspect again in his Demon, I believe it was. Let me double check. It was a Dodge sports car. So it's going to be his Dodge Hellcat, Your Honor.
All right.
Again, same purple paint, purple underglow, purple rims, just for the court's record. We then attempted a code 5 stop on him, and for code 5 stop is basically a felony stop, in which we both lit the vehicle up. We both basically had my vehicle on the left of, how do I explain this? My vehicle was on the left. Officer Young's vehicle was on the right. We were both parallel to each other. And we exited our vehicles, had our weapons drawn on the suspect once again, because at this point he is a felony evader. And from there he took off. He yelled more profanities, which is perfectly legal, and then took off from us again, in which we lost him. And then once again, we patrolled the city a little bit. And then for the 4th time, the defendant returned to his the mechanic shop in a different vehicle, which was the Mega. I'm sorry. I will check.
The jacked up Dodge. We get the point.
Yes, the jacked up truck. In which, and then he was basically parked it in the mechanic shop. Myself and 246 blocked the entrances. We entered the mechanic shop, held the suspect on gunpoint, ordered him multiple times to put his hands in the air and turn around, put his hands in the air and turn around. He refused, in which point I pulled out my taser and tased the suspect, and then Officer Young placed him in handcuffs. And that is basically why we are here today.
All right. What did you find on the person and the person's vehicle?
So on the person, nothing illegal. On the person's vehicle, I'd like to submit this as evidence. It's going to be a Tech 9. It is fairly used, and I do have the weapon on me, so I'd like to submit this as evidence, if I may.
You just put it in the evidence of the MDT.
Oh, he told me to bring it.
He's
okay.
trying to present it to the courtroom.
I'm trying to present it to the court.
Yeah, give it to me.
Okay.
It's a gun.
Your Honor, would you like to see it?
Let's see Exhibit A. All right. So we found the gun in his truck,
Correct, Your Honor.
and anything else on his persons that is questionable? Any of the stuff that was
Um,
robbed?
If I may consult Officer Young or about that.
Well, you can pull Mr. Officer Young and put him on the witness stand if you like.
All right, Officer Young, I'd like to put you on the witness stand or call you as a witness.
I'll go up somewhere.
Yeah,
right here.
witness stand.
Now, do I approach to ask him questions?
Officer Young, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, Jeebus?
Yes.
So help you, Ganja?
If you want,
Yes.
if you can go up there and talk to him and try to get him to be able to corroborate the story and be able to provide evidence towards the story.
So, yeah.
But you
may I
can't lead
approach
the
him?
witness.
Yeah, ask him questions and try to corroborate, man. You're good.
Okay. All right, Officer Young. Now, when I got on shift, what did I ask you about the vehicle that you were pursuing?
You asked me about the colors of the vehicle, what vehicle he was driving. Yeah, just basically like a basic description.
How about let's go through your recounting of the day's events, please, Officer Young.
All right, so like starting yesterday.
Starting with what we're at court here today for.
All right, so yesterday he was in a robbery in the purple
No,
Hell Ram.
Talk about today.
Yeah, sounds good.
Today's robbery, yeah.
Today's robbery.
So you arrived on scene of you got
I
a call for
arrived-
what?
I got a call for a 1090 at the Grove Street.
Which is a
that is a store robbery.
okay. You arrived
And
on scene.
I arrived on scene and the suspect was already in his vehicle.
Did
And
you
as
get
soon
eyes
as-
on the suspect?
I did not get eyes on what he was wearing today.
Okay.
The suspect was already in his vehicle. As soon as he saw me, he took off. I chased him for a good 4 minutes until I eventually lost him. When Officer Casey got back on duty, I just explained everything that went on. That I just had lost him in this chase. And the description of the vehicle and who I believed was in a robbery yesterday.
Alrighty, proceed.
So, talk about. So at this point, you went 10-7 to go eat, correct? After you lost eyes with the suspect.
Yes, I went 10-7 to go eat, which 10-7 is I'm on duty, but I'm in my head.
Yep.
Or doing something else.
Correct. So then, tell me about when you came back from being 10-7 and coming back on 10-8. Tell me about your experiences. Basically, what happened in your eyes from when as soon as you came back and went back 10-8. 10-8 is back in service, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
All right, so as soon as I came back, Officer Casey had called out on the radio that he was in a chase from a robbery down on Great Ocean Freeway, and to assist him and meet him at the highway so I could try to join the 1080, which is a speed chase. And by that time, when I arrived, we had both lost him and returned to PD or towards the mech shop, one of the two. And once we got there, we saw the suspect come back.
Where's there?
Mechanic shop.
Okay. And what was he driving when we saw him the second time?
Second time together?
Yes.
He was driving, I believe, the R35.
Okay, and what happened upon seeing him at the mech shop with the R35?
Casey pulled up first, and I pulled up second. He said code 5, so we both got out of the vehicles.
Explain the
Guns
code
and-
5, please.
If you would, Your Honor, he is still a trainee. I'd like to explain that to the
Yep,
jury.
not an issue. It just needs to be made clear for the jury.
Right. So a code 5 stop, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is basically a 10 code that we use for felony risk, either violent persons or possible runner. If that makes sense to everybody.
All right, continue, Officer Young.
All right, so as of then, we both got out of our vehicles with guns drawn, pointing at the suspect's vehicle, and told him to get out, his hands up, and he drove off. Both got in our vehicles and chased him and eventually lost him.
Okay. Then what happened?
Then I told Casey that I was going to go sit around the area of the mech shop because it's been a notice that this guy has came from here many times. And so I sat around, eventually seeing him again, which this time he drove into the mechanic shop and got out of his vehicle, and I recognized the suspect.
Which vehicle is this?
This is the Mega Ram, I believe.
The jacked up Ram. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so I told Casey that I had seen the suspect get out of his vehicle, and he looked like the same guy from yesterday. And he pulled up, we blocked the entrances of the mech shop, walked up to the suspect, again, code 5, and told him to put his hands up, where he resisted, and then Casey tased him. Once he got up, I cuffed him.
Alrighty, any questions for the witness, Officer Casey?
Could you try to remember again what he was driving when we did the code 5 stop? Do you remember it being more of a muscle car or more of like a slant car?
Mr. Ripper, do you have an issue? Thank you.
No, Your
Which
Honor,
encounter
you
was
can
this at
just
this
get
point?
it to go away.
The one when we conducted the code 5 stop, not the one when I was attempting to stop him by myself. When we both got him basically in one of the entrances pulling out of the mech shop. You recall that? And then he went toward the center. You remember when he went toward the center of town? Kinda.
So not the
Toward the tunnel?
R35 one.
Yeah, do you recall him being in a muscle car at all?
I don't remember. I've had so many encounters.
Okay.
All right, any further questions, Officer Casey?
I have no further questions at this point, Your Honor.
All right, Officer Young, you may be able to step down, but the defense may call you for a counter interrogation. Okay, you in the shirt. I can't remember your fucking name.
Charlie.
Charlie. Mr. what? Mr. Stallone. Let's hear your counter argument, please.
Your Honor, may I approach a little closer so I could hear you better?
Yeah, it would be better for both of us, probably.
Is it both of us? Or
Well,
just
if you want, you can still hear him from the bench, can't you, Casey, from your spot?
If you need to move up, you're good too.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's fine. All right, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Officer or Chief Casey, the only questions I really would like to have answered would be, just down
If you're
by
questioning
the-
somebody, then pull them to the witness stand. I don't have any answers for you.
I was just going to ask to submit the evidence, the body cam from today's occurrence, if it exists.
Well, of course it exists, and it will be gone over. That's not an issue. We're talking about the recollection of the events.
All right. As far as that is concerned, then I would just like to be able to rest on the defense on what the video will demonstrate. I believe my clients.
Well, paint a
point of
picture for
view-
us. That's your job.
Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. It's just I do believe my client's story of being able to leave work from Paleto Bay at the recycling center, going to his mech shop or his mech shop job.
Okay, this is something that you should probably
Objection,
pull
Your Honor,
your.
relevance.
You should probably pull your
Client.
client. Thank you. Onto the witness stand and have him recount the day's events. I think would be the best way to proceed here.
Sure, I will do that. And Your Honor, just to clarify the objection that Chief Casey had, I would like to get
The
clear that
objection's denied.
All right, thank you.
But also, you don't need to be explaining the day's events when your client could do it himself.
I understand, Your Honor. I'm sorry. Would you like to approach a bench, please?
Yes, sir.
First of all, okay, yeah, we'll do. Are you going to want to cross-examine Officer Young at all?
I would like to after my client, to be
Sounds
honest
good.
with you.
Sounds good.
That way we just get his point of view out of the way, then be able to try to cooperate.
Your Honor, I'd like to cross-examine the.
You'll get your
gentleman,
chance, Officer Casey. Don't worry. I would also like to know why you couldn't find anything better to wear to court.
I was in cuffs.
I can't testify to that, Your Honor. The first time I seen my client, he was in the cell.
All right. I'll let it slide this time, but maybe next time try to at least comb your fucking hair.
Yes,
I apologize about that.
That's definitely my fault. I should have got my client dressed up in court fashion. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Not a problem. All right, Mr. Ripper, is it?
Yup.
Let's go
Government.
forward with your recounting of the events.
You gonna swear me in?
Oh, yeah. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help you, Ganja?
Yup. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, Officer Ripper, take us through the day as you've seen it.
I'm not an officer.
Okay.
I was working up in Paleto at the recycling center, getting supplies for the mechanic shop. My job. And I'm still hired on as a mechanic shop. I came back. The officer saw me in my truck. I was doing pretty fast, so yeah, it might have turned around, and I didn't see him behind me at all. I didn't see his lights turn on or anything, but he was going the other direction, so I figured, all right, well, he's just going to a call or something. And then I go to the mech shop, drop off this stuff from the recycling center. I even have stuff in my truck, crypto sticks in my truck from the recycling center. So, and then I went and pulled out my R35 to go back up there and get more and do more work. And then the officer pulled up as I'm getting into my vehicle, and he points his gun at me. So, in fear for my life, I took off because I don't know what's going on at that point.
And what vehicle were you driving at this time?
The R35.
All right. Continue.
And then I went back up to Paleto after fearing for my life and running away. I went back up to Paleto to go do work, and I did more work, and then I came back down, guarded out my Hellcat to do more work, but they apparently tried to stop me, and then when they pulled their guns out, I feared for my life. I ran.
Okay.
And then
Where'd you run to?
I went down to Legion Square.
All right, continue.
And then I went back up to the mech shop. And then after I went back to the mech shop, I pulled out my Mega Ram. And I don't know what's in the Mega Ram. I bought that off of an individual, so the gun in question, I'd have never seen it, so never been in my hands at least. I parked the Mega Ram and went on duty and was gonna go about being a mechanic, so people could get their cars fixed and upgraded and modified and all that good stuff. And I get asked to see my hands. I was leaning up against, my hands were in front of me just like they are kind of now. You could see there was nothing in my hands, and he had two people with guns pointed at me. So I was like, "You can see my hands. I didn't move for your life." And then I got tased and handcuffed.
All right. Would you like to examine your witness, Mr. Sloan?
Mr. Ripper,
Yes, sir.
how long have you been working at the mechanic shop?
3 days now.
3 days now. All right. And your usual route is to the recycling center in Toledo, correct?
Yeah, Toledo, and then I go the Great Ocean Highway and come back from Toledo that way.
So like you drive this route pretty normally, and therefore you would obey the traffic laws and wouldn't have raised alarm to any law enforcement officers that might be near in the area.
I might go a little over the speed limit, but I follow to the best of my ability.
So just to be completely clear here, whenever this interaction occurred, it was completely impromptu. You did not expect this to happen. This was completely just swatted on upon you.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I believe at this point, the best case scenario would be to end our interaction here with my client and
So
move
you
on to
just
the
say
video evidence.
no further questions is what you're trying to say?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Officer Casey, would you like to cross-examine?
I would, Your Honor. I'd request a 5-minute recess before so.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Well, after the 5-minute recess, you can do your cross-examination of Mr. Ripper here, as well as Mr. Stallone can cross-examine Mr. Young, and by then we should be able to wrap everything up. So, yeah, let's take a 5-minute recess.
Your Honor, can I go get
Awesome. Thank
dressed
you.
in better clothes?
Yeah, give her.
Can
No,
somebody just put an anklet on me so that I can
if that's
go
the
with my
case,
lawyer?
he's going to be escorted by law enforcement.
No, he can do it. He can be taken.
Oh,
law
okay.
enforcement. Yeah,
All right.
Mr. Johnny Law there is going to escort him into the back and let him. I think we got a suit back there for him.
All right.
I'm going to return to my chambers with my security detail. The court
Thank
will
you, Your Honor.
reconvene in 5 minutes.